Alright, let's just say I did start this video off a different way, and I'll throw everything in here in a little bit, but I decided to skip ahead a little bit. See, the P1cruiser is back on the ground, and has me thinking, will it be ready in time? This is kind of ground zero, so after getting the motor and everything in, getting it back on all fours, I noticed there's quite a bit of stuff that still needs to be done. So yeah, just wondering, is it gonna be ready in time? All right, so I'm not gonna do too much. I'm tired. I worked last night, haven't slept, but I just wanted to get the motor, transmission, wheels, just get it all back on the car, on the P1cruiser. So just stopped by grind schools, picked up my engine hoist. So need to unload that from the truck. I'll get that out, get the wheels on it, put the car on all four ramps, or at least leave the ramps under it, keep it on the jack stands just for extra support. Then get the valley cover off, put the lift plate on, get the motor or engine mated up to the transmission, not forgetting the torque converter. So we'll get all that knocked out of the way. Make sure the flex plate bolts are torqued down, get that mounted up to the transmission, and I'll probably just throw it on time lapse because it's going to be a lot of work and I'm trying to knock it out. I'm not trying to rush it, but I am a little tired. So like I said, got off work, came home, let the dog and everything out, went to go pick up the engine hoist, and then ran to a couple stores to find the correct bolts for the motor mounts, the bell housing, and the transmission mount. So pretty sure I got all those, and yeah, that's it. Let's get these tires on, get the torque converter on the 4L80E, get the 6.0 mounted up to the 4L80E, get that mounted up to the motor mounts and the transmission mount, and we'll go from there. But that's enough talking. Let's get to it.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change.
Alright, so give a little update. I did have to do a little trimming of the ears down here to get it moved over enough, or slid over to the side. It's looking like I could have went a little bit longer with the bolts, but it's at 35. Probably could have done 40, so 40 millimeter bolts. But we'll see. There's plenty of threads on it, so should be good. But a little extra won't hurt. I'll get this lift plate off here in a second. Motor mounts are on. We're kind of off just a little bit. Had to open up this one. The other side was good, but I still want to put a gusset plate in here. So I should have done it before I put everything back, but in this case I'll just throw one on top, probably a piece of metal. I'll tie these two in, and then it'd be welded up against the cross member also, just a little bit more support. Same thing on this side. This side I could probably get to it on the bottom, but I might throw it on top also. But one thing I do regret not doing, or I should have taken out this brake line. I remember when I put the motor and everything, there was clearance, but it was tight up against the cross member and the oil pan. And I'm not sure if you see from that angle, but from there I bent the brake line. So definitely going to redo that, reroute it. Probably just bring it so it runs alongside the front of or the top of the cross member. There's a lot more clearance. I said this looks close, but that might be too close. Oh, there's clearance there. It is close here, so I might have to pull the motor back out. Section this area of the cross member. Yeah, that's probably what I'm about to do. So just section that, put a little indent in it, and weld that back up. So the motor probably doesn't have to come all the way out, just enough to get the cutoff wheel in there and just cut off a little section of it. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Definitely need to get another bottle of welding gas, so we'll have to do that. So that'd be one thing, but motor, transmission, everything is in. Like I said, just had to do a little clearance in there. I do need to get a little bit longer bolts for the transmission mount, get longer bolts and a washer for those, and we should be good. So like I said, I'll take it out, or at least lift it up one more time, do a little bit of welding, but it's nice being able to see what happened, or clearance and everything. So the thing I was worried about, headers. I'm probably gonna have to go with some block huggers. So they'll come out a little bit and usually just tuck right down in that area. So I think we can make it happen. I think we can make it work. But it is going to be close. So probably just going to do the block huggers, make it nice and easy. Same thing with underneath. It will just be a 2.5-inch exhaust, but I think I have some 3-inch exhaust laying around, or a section of it. Maybe not, but let's see. Probably about the same size, 2.5. Okay. So I'll have the exhaust there. Plenty of clearance depending on where the block huggers will sit. Same thing. Not worried about that side as much, but that side is a little worried about. Have to come underneath. Don't mind the transmission pan, that will be replaced. So it looks ugly, but that will be replaced. So the exhaust, depending on where it's routed, like I said, will have to come under here. So I might have to do a section into like the oval pipe there, just for clearance, because that's going to be pretty low. So we'll see. If not, I'll just have to redo the transmission mount or make another one and put like a little hump on both sides right there. That way I can set that up in there and have a little bit more clearance. So I'll have to keep that in mind with the exhaust. And then the last modification I'm going to make is plug here for the terminator X, or the transmission control. Didn't leave enough room here, so I probably have to notch this out a little bit, and it's making enough room so I'm able to get the plug in there. So that's all I'm saying. Like I said, this one I'll just need the washers and it should be good. If not, I might need to do a little spacer, like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch spacer. Make sure the drive line angle and everything's right. So what I need to do now is actually get the drive shaft and test that out. See if my measurements were right, which I'm pretty sure they were. So I just do it right now. I still haven't gotten the bolt for the rear, so it will just be floating here. Yeah, definitely matches. Notch that cross member. Ooh, that boy's good. Let's see get that right. Yahoo! Look at that. Look at that. So I might know what I'm doing. Yeah, definitely need to get those bolts. But yeah, it seems like it should be good. And then, like I said, the ride height will be a little bit lower. So before, I thought I was going to have to notch that cross member there. But I think we should be good. Like I said, the rear end will sit a little bit lower. And then I think only about 2 inches of travel. So yeah, drop that. Yeah, we should be good. So we're good there. Let me take that out before it just falls and those bearings go everywhere. But yeah, definitely have to swap out the oil pan. Like I said, I probably have to modify this for the exhaust. Trim this out here. So cut that out. Like I said, depending on how I want to do it. Drop it down. Would that be easier? Run the exhaust through that, or just make this go up? We'll see. We'll see about that. So yeah, might be easier just to raise it up and have the exhaust hang down slightly. But still should be plenty of clearance. Like I said, the ride height will go up a little bit. You guys can see how that brake line was bent. So yeah. What else while I'm under here? I still need to finish tightening down the bolts for the shifter and get those a little bit longer. Because right now it's like just a few threads on it, so get some longer bolts there. Have plenty of access to that. The shifter cable and everything, that will be depending on how I run the exhaust, but yeah, that should be fine. Might have to tuck the exhaust in a little bit and come back around. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Like we figured everything else out on here so far. I guess a little adjustment with the rear end alignment, so we'll see about that. But yeah, it's comfortable. I don't know if it's comfortable. I just like seeing the progress on it, so we're good to go. Good thing is I haven't heard any creaks or anything. Car's still solid, so it means my welds are somewhat holding. I do want to go through, and I will retorque everything eventually, especially I need to somewhat align the wheels and all that. Same thing with the rear end. But this is major. I can see where I need to go from here, see what I need to adjust, and go from there. But what I want to do, I think a lot of people want to see it. For one, get the intake on. That's not what I was talking. That's not where I was going with this. But I want to get this lift plate off, get the intake on. But I think a lot of people want to see it on the ground, trying to get the full picture with it. It'll pretty much be full weight for the most part, besides fluids and yeah. Few lines here and there, but yeah, pretty much be full weight and see how low this thing really goes. Like I said, I might, while I have it, I might just lower this right now because I want it sitting on this full weight and sitting on the tire. So drop that a little bit. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So a lot of things going to need to be adjusted or changed or redid, like the brake lines, everything I mentioned. So let me stop talking, put this on the charger for a little bit, and when I cut it back on, it'll be on all fours. All right, so car is back on all fours. Obviously the jack stand or the jacks are under it. Try to get it at the right height so it's not sitting on any of the inner fender wells and all that. So there's quite a bit of work that still needs to be done. I went over most of it, so just wanted to cut you guys back on. One, it is on all fours. Like I said, I think this side still needs to be lowered, or the other side, because that one's fine. I think this one just needs to be raised up, and then obviously they're a little off, so that side might get some spacers. I'm not sure just yet. Like I said, measurement on the rear is off slightly. I'm not sure if that's something I could work out with the adjustable trailing arms. I'm hoping so. So we'll see. Obviously, I could raise the coilovers up a little bit. That's going to get the right height where it needs to be, so it doesn't have to be on the jacks. But like I said, just trying to get an idea on where right height's going to be. This fender is probably going to have to be rolled. Like I said, if I do this side, I'll do the other side to match. But I think it came down on the tire a little bit, so we'll see about that. I'm not too worried about body work on here. Eventually, I'll probably go through and repaint it, but for now, not too worried about it. I might redo, or I'll probably definitely redo before race week. The car, like I said, has a lot of work. I'm a little nervous. That's not going to be ready in time, but I'm gonna come out here pretty much every day and bust my butt, try to knock everything out. There's quite a little bit of things that still need to order, so bust out the car, charge it, and get all the parts here so I can start really taking care of as much stuff as I need to. Like I said, there's a little bit of cutting left on it, but after the cutting and I get the right height adjusted, the engine bay stuff as far as hooking up all the wires, the sensors, the hoses, battery cables, that's not too bad. I added some stuff to the list. So the exhaust, I was already planning on having to do that. Just the right height, the radio, have an Alpine stereo that was given to me by a coworker. So I'll go in here, Still need the bolts for the drive shaft, hoses, so that's pretty much just the coolant hoses for the radiator. Need a notch for that plug for the Terminator X into the transmission, new transmission pan, notch the cross member, battery cables, need some new lock nuts for the fuel cell, torque all the bolts and everything. So as far as the chassis goes and all that, I think the welds and everything are good to go. I think the chassis is fine. I did put some more supports up front where it's kind of has that plate in there, so I did add that little support in there. But the way the car was tilting and everything when I was lowering it, it's fine. It's pretty much you jack up one side and the whole car is wanting to come up off the ground for the most part. Obviously, if I jack up this side, it's going to put the weight to that side, but if you get in the right spot, start jacking it up, at least 3 of the wheels want to come up. So the chassis is pretty stiff. Just like I said, just need to adjust this ride height. Lights and everything are looking good. Like I said, I threw the cover on there and then throw the intake on just because I left the lift plate on it. It's going to have to be used again once I notch the cross member. So just decided to leave that. Gonna have to do some battery tie downs, but for the most part, like I said, the welds and everything aren't the best. Most of the stuff's getting hidden anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. A lot of the transmission fluid did start to leak out, so it wasn't full. Most of it was drained, but it wasn't drained all the way until about now. We'll do a transmission pan and filter, so I'll swap those out, new gasket for that. What else? Notch the cross member. I think there's another style oil pan that I could use that kind of goes all the way back and just drops straight down, but I already have this 302-2 oil pan, so I'll just notch the cross member for added clearance. Obviously gonna have to redo that brake line, so I'll redo that one. Now that I think about it, I might be able to just go over the top with it and just tuck it up against the firewall and bring it back down here. That way I don't have to worry about it getting crushed like it did or bent like it did. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do, because I'll be able to reuse, I think, that AN fitting there, the AN3 fitting there, and then obviously I have a bunch of the other brake line fittings, so that's fine. Have enough brake line for it, so we'll get that ran and everything. I'll start looking at headers, that way I can have a good idea on how I'm going to have to do it, or the clearance I have for it now. Obviously a little bit of welding, like I said, notch the cross member, put the gussets in for the motor mounts. Water pump should be here by now. I did order the 5th gen Camaro water pump, so the LS3 L99 water pump that works with truck spacing, so we should be good there. And now that I'm looking at it, low mount or high mount alternator. I think we'll have plenty of room for a low mount alternator right there, so might start ordering that bracket also. It does have the holes for it, so I don't have to drill anything. We're good there. What else under here? Battery cables. Like I said, I have the battery cables. Picked those up from my buddy Justin at Casper's Electronics. So he looks out for me for parts and everything. He's up in Loveland, so usually I just hop on the bike, head up there. I'll hit him up a day or two before I head up there, let him know what I'm looking for, get up there, and I still pay for it. I'm not completely sponsored yet, but he does take care of me, so that's why I rocket stickers on the cars. I'm showing some support. But yeah, battery cables, and then that is for the fuel pump. That's like a hot wire kit, so I'll go from Is that from the battery or to the alternator? I think from the battery directly to the fuel pump, so it doesn't lose any voltage or anything. So we'll get all that wired up eventually. Fuel lines should be here today. Was it the fuel lines that are showing up today? This week. They should definitely be here this week. I had to cancel my other order. Try to stick with the same company I've used for the Monty and the Elko. I paid for it in the past. I've had no problem with shipping. Everything's been real fast. This time I couldn't get a hold of anybody. It was 3 weeks and just had to dispute the charges. So yeah, I won't be using them again. So I had to reorder fuel lines. Those should be here this week. Like I said, those, once I figure out where I want to route them, obviously the intake is over here. So it'll be on the driver's side. So we'll probably just mount it that way, make it the easiest. So that way we don't have to cross back over and do a whole 180. So we'll figure out what we're doing with that. I think for the headers, it's Speed Engineering. They have some block huggers, so I'll look at those pictures, see where they sit, and if it makes sense to go that route or not. Obviously, I'll probably just do what I did on Mona Lisa. Just got I think it's like a 10-piece exhaust kit. It comes with like, I think 2 90s, 45, a couple straights, and might be 2 180s. And just mock it up, figure out how I want to do it. If I was a little bit more experienced, I'd probably do an X pipe on it. If I had the clearance, I would have loved to do long tubes and an X pipe, true duals, but I don't. And with clearance and everything, it might just be shorty headers, true duals, no X pipe or X pipe. I don't think I have the room for it. I know it's helps performance out a little bit, but I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. And I've probably been listening to sound clips and everything. I like the sound on Mona Lisa. I think that has Borla exhaust or mufflers, not exhaust, just mufflers. And I think the cammed LS with the Borla attacks, I think it sounds pretty good. So that's kind of the route I'm leaning as of right now. We'll see if that changes. But like I said, it's a lot, but it's not. I just have to come out here and bust my butt for the next 40 odd days and get this thing ready. Like I said, it's almost there. It needs a lot, but it doesn't. But it does. But I think we're going to be able to have it ready in time. So with that being said, I know I've had an order in for shirts and hoodies. That should be done probably later this week. I might get a text saying they're ready for pickup. So that should be done. I've also thought about like trying different things. Like I have that lanyard with the Dash Garage logo on it. I was just trying something off Amazon. So it's not the highest quality, but something like that, or like one of the key tags. Like a key tag with the Dash Garage logo on it, or put the Monty on one side, the Elko on another, something like that. So I'm trying to find just little things here and there that I could add besides just shirts and hoodies. I dig them. Anytime you see me, I'm in one of my shirts and hoodies. So I'm not hating on it, but the lanyards or the key tags, if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know if you watch this far in the video. But yeah, overall, like I said, interior is all pretty much done. As far as carpet goes, I'm not sure if I'm gonna run a carpet just yet or throw some floor mats in there and call it good. But I still need to build a little platform to cover the master cylinders and the brake lines. Have to redo these brake lines, so I'm sure I have enough line left over. Yeah, should be back there. But let's say if I come out here, brake lines one day, fuel lines the next, find the radiator hoses, water pump, alternator, that could all be done in a day. Battery cables, rest of the wiring, I can knock that out in a day. So as far as the 40 something days left, I think we can get it done. Pretty confident we can get it done. I need to order a cooling fan and make a shroud, so probably a 16-inch fan. I'm thinking 2,500 to 3,000 CFMs. Try to keep this thing as cool as I can. Have the transmission cooler in there, and with how low it's sitting, I'm kind of glad I didn't do the fog light approach that I was thinking about. This should help out a lot. So we're good there. But yeah, this video, like I said, it started off as something different. I just wanted to get the engine, transmission in the car, and then I thought it was gonna be smooth sailing. I was like, I've mocked it up, but I guess it's a little different once everything's actually tightened up in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been up since probably this time yesterday. So what time it is? Probably what, 4? Yeah, 4:08. Probably been up since about there. Worked last night, picked up the engine hoist, and pretty much been in the garage. So working on no sleep. I'm about to run inside, clean up, and probably just pass out. But yeah, that's the P1cruiser update. This is pretty much ground zero. So 40 something odd days left to get this thing running, driving, and ready to put some miles on it, abuse it, and see what a LS swapped PT Cruiser can do.